mes amis, hi guys. Today I want to talk about Speedies, Omega Speedmasters, born from racing, adopted for space exploration, and then landing back on Earth in all sorts of disguises. Which one to get? Do you need more than one? Let's discuss this. My first Speedy wasn't the Moonwatch. It was this racing model, which I have held on for 2 years already, because it's such a fun piece and complements the Big Daddy so well. I got it from E-Lady, a well-known Japanese company on eBay. I got it watch only, which saved me the extra coin, but might come back to bite me if I needed to sell it. So no box, no paper. If I don't sell it, then who cares about a box and an expired warranty? It's not like criminals spend their time making fakes of this sort of model anyway. I think I paid around 2,300 US, and you can certainly find brand new ones full set for not a lot more these days. So it's a great bang for buck watch. You can find it in any dial color you like, with a bracelet if you prefer. I see loads of these in Japan actually. They wear small, so are definitely well suited for smaller wrists. I'll give you right now a little wrist shot. There you go. Here we are very close to the camera, but in person it's going to wear very small. The Moonwatch. I got the Moonwatch brand new full set with the nice display box on my birthday in late 2017 at the lowest point reached on the grey market, about 3,200 US. If you're not familiar with it, the grey market are watch dealers who are not authorized by the brand, but they get stock, brand new stocks, sometimes from authorized dealers themselves, well, quite often actually, and they take a much smaller profit on it. So here I was really at the bottom, 25,000 Hong Kong dollar or 3,200 US. I think the asking price is a bit higher these days. This year Omega is pushing the model hard again, along with the moon landing anniversary model with golden highlights. One more thing about the grey dealers is that you may or may not get the factory warranty. In this case I have the real warranty and I brought it twice to Omega, no problem. They resized the bracelet and they demagnetized and regulated the watch free of charge. Excellent service. Rather than listing every single offshoot of the Moonwatch, and there are many, and also the smaller siblings, I'll keep it concise and general. First thing first, until you've seen the Moonwatch in person, you shouldn't dismiss it or wonder whether you need added features such as the sapphire crystal front and back, automatic winding, maybe coaxial escapement, limited editions with all sorts of gimmicks on the dial and on the packaging, or maybe the blacked out dark side version or the all white, grey and whatnot. The first time I opened the moon box to reveal this watch, it was like seeing a holy grail, and to this day I'm smitten by the aura and the curves of the piece. I think that once Omega had perfected this design, there was simply nothing to change. And I'm glad they've kept it true to the original to this day, albeit with some alterations to the beautiful caliber, now referenced as the 1861. It's an icon from the decade of iconic designs in the automotive and musical instrument industry, for example, among many others. Everyone these days wants vintage reissues of everything, and here you have the purest expression of what a Speedmaster is, and yet its curves and bracelet are absolutely gorgeous, and it wears very close to the wrist. If it was released today, people would not believe what they're seeing on the wrist. To me, it wears great. I have 17 centimeter wrists, and to me it's just perfection. The fact that it is a manual wind throws off some people, usually newbies, who might never have interacted with a non-automatic watch. But manual trumps automatic in two ways, let's say. One, you have the interaction with the excellent movement. The winding is very different from automatic watches. It's very mechanical in the feel and the sound. We put it next to the microphone. Two, from a practical perspective, while you're never sure how much power is left in an automatic unless it sports a power display, you always pretty much know what's left in your manual wind, provided that you wind it up always at the same time like a nice routine. Some say the recessed crown into the asymmetrical case, in case you hadn't noticed, asymmetrical case, is hard to turn. At first it is probably, but once you get the hang of it, it's really easy and pleasant. You provide counterweight here, and you can almost do it with one finger. Mechanically, it's as raw as it gets. No date, no hacking, but you can stop the seconds hand. I'll show you. To synchronize it to a reference time by back-turning the crown in the pull position. It's not for the heavy-handed, but once you get the hang of it, it's like an art. See? You can even make it go backwards. So to make it very steady, you gotta get very, very soft. There you go. I don't recommend doing that every day, but I read that a watchmaker said it was rather safe. Try not to do it every day. The better way to sync if the watch has stopped is to wind it back to life just when the seconds on your reference time reaches the position where the second hand had stopped. Unlike many automatic watches, the movement will start right away as you start powering it, not after 15 turns and a shake like many automatics, including Rolex. Then all you have to do is power all the way up, pull the crown, and just go up to the time you wish to have. I always enjoy the process. It's never bothered me, as it's just as quick as with automatics. Now on the wrist, it wears like silk, as I said, not too heavy, certainly not too light. With the modern bracelet, it's a real treat. Look how well it's done, with a couple of polished sections in the middle. Grand Seiko does a similar sort of finish actually on their watches, and we can compare. I have them with me. Can compare a bit the two. I'll make a video about the different polishes. You know, everybody talks about the Zaratsu polish. I think it's more of a gimmick than anything. Usually the big difference is how sharp the watch looks overall. I think the Omega is really sharp on the brushing of the side. Even if most of it is machine, I think it's really well done. And those twisted lugs are absolutely gorgeous. Look at the polish on that, then compare to the polish here. You know, I'm honestly not too hung up about polishes. I don't really see the difference between the polishing. Here is titanium. Titanium seems to have a bit more deformation. So this is the snowflake from Grand Seiko. You can compare titanium to steel. Titanium will always look a bit more dull. Only one pin of adjustment here on the bracelet. I used to have it in, and now I have it out because my wrist got a bit thicker. It doesn't bother me. Again, it's really simplicity. I remember a guy from the Just Bluefish channel complaining about this, and he had a replacement clasp with some adjustment. That's cool if you're bothered. To me, I never have a problem, even when my wrist size swells up or shrinks. It seems like I got the right fit for the moment. And if I lose a bit of weight, probably I can just put the pin back over here. It's just simplicity incarnate, you know. And sometimes that's the best thing. Something very mechanical, not too fussy. It's pretty much the opposite of the Grand Seiko that I just showed you. And the thing is, with this watch on the wrist, you'll always look cool. You'll never have to justify your choice because everyone who loves watches loves this watch. And no matter how many $1 million Pateks you own, there's always a special place in the collection for the NASA approved Speedy. Because yes, to this day, this is the Omega that NASA approves for space missions,
And the Hesalite crystal, which has such a particular sheen to it, is part of the spec. Let's look at it at different angles. Isn't this lovely? You feel as much part of today as part of the 60s. Perfect execution on the watch. Again, it's always a fun interaction with the piece to polish the crystal back to perfect with some polywatch. You can watch my video about it. It works miracles. Now, limited editions, added complications, like the moon phase, the dates and whatnot. Added colors, etc. Yes, they are sort of cool, but when the real thing is perfect, why would you go and spend more money and get more trouble for anything else? I think that less is more. If I had, say, the Speedy Tuesday, I think I would feel bad wearing it instead of my Moonwatch. Yes, there are many around to buy everywhere, but this one is mine. And very few watches let you bond with them as much as the original Speedy. And yet, I have a Speedmaster Racing with striking yellow accent. As I told you about it before the Moonwatch. This was my first luxury purchase, actually. And I don't regret it. It's been serving me well. I still wear it a lot at night and on the weekends. The yellow accent are quite appropriate given that the yellow is the racing color of Belgium, my home country. I believe that, I don't know if it's Omega or another brand, maybe Breitling, had yellow dials and for Belgium, red dials for Italy, racing green dials for Britain, etc. So this is a modern incarnation of the concept, taking it right back to its racing roots, and it could not be more different than the Moonwatch, and in a technical way, I suppose better. Yet I don't think many people would pick this one over its big sister. Let's list all the technical differences. It's 40mm, wearing even smaller, especially on the black strap, the rubber strap that I have here. On the bracelet, it would sort of extend the visual aspect of the case. So here on the rubber, which ties in with the colors of the dial and the tachymeter, it wears really petite, but it's thicker. An unfortunate trait of modern Omegas. So it wears more like a layered pancake on the wrist, more like a little burger. But it's still very easy to wear and again would suit smaller wrists. Here's the back. The back of it is gorgeous. I mean, look at that. Look at the work of it. With the seahorse there. So the 3330 caliber that powers it is a reworked Valjoux 7753 base, I believe. So yes, it does feature unidirectional automatic winding, which wobbles strongly. You can really feel the watch wobble on your wrist when you shake your hand. But also it features all the bells and whistles that Omega is now known for. The SI14 silicone hairspring for resistance to magnetic fields, coaxial escapement for steadier delivery throughout the power range and longer service intervals, 4 Hz beat rate, which is smoother than the 3 Hz of the caliber 1861, column wheel for smoother chrono actuation, chronometer certification, so expect good accuracy, constant running minutes. So I'm talking about this dial here. The minutes are going to constantly move, while on the Speedmaster, the minutes will jump every minute. So they're going to stay still, and at the minute, right before the minute has passed, it will start moving and click into the next position. As you can see here, the minute is moving constantly. More practicalities. 100 meters of water resistance. That's twice the Big Daddy. 52 hours of power reserve, I believe. Double application of amazing clear AR coating. Here there's a lot of reflection, but otherwise most of the time you could almost touch the dial. Let's have a look here at what happens when you get to the first minute. Look here.
Click. So yeah, the air coating, it all but disappears most of the time. Very comfortable, high quality rubber strap, which makes it a friendly weekend and a nighttime watch, as I mentioned. So it tucks on the inside, unlike the cheap Seiko straps which flop about all the time. Here there's no need for a minder, and you can easily resize it. So if you give it to someone with a smaller, bigger wrist, it's very practical. And the motifs there recall the motifs from the sub-dials. And of course you have the Speedmaster moniker in the same yellow. It's a striking watch, all over with dashes of colors and a particularly beautiful bezel. This watch packs so much fun for the price. It's a steal on the grey and the secondary markets. Actually, even in the shop, it's not gonna set you back too much, but yeah, don't go and pay too much. These will not keep all their values. Same goes for the Moonwatch, by the way. So I do wonder how it would have looked with smaller seconds and minute registers. You see the register here at the bottom doesn't touch the minute track, but those two go right through it. And yeah, I think if they had balanced everything, it could have looked a bit more noble. In this interpretation here, it's a bit less serious, but it's still a good way to get into a Panda dial from a good brand without breaking the bank. In terms of size, I prefer this one to the Speedy Reduced, as it is known, which uses a chronograph module as pushers down the line with the crown as a result, which isn't very pleasing to the eye. In this case here, you see it's a fully integrated chronograph, so everything is aligned. But many people do love their Reduced though, and it has come in many fun colors like the Schumacher models. I don't think you can really ever go wrong with a Speedy. Just make sure you don't overpay for it. Omega builds their watches tough and offers premium after-sales service, so these are watches you can enjoy daily and put through their paces. So there you go, just my 2 cents. If you should only own one Speedy, the classic Moonwatch would be the one for me, but there is no shortage of options. The best looking one in recent years being the CK2998, which you can get with a pulsation bezel, and that is probably more useful than a tachymeter, a scale that you are unlikely to ever need to use. But still, don't we love having it on the wrist? Bye bye, guys.
Armstrong is on the moon. Neil Armstrong, 38-year-old American, standing on the surface of the moon on this July 20th, 1969.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap